All right, everybody, how you doing? Let me make sure that I am on here. Yep, that road is good. And all right, everybody, how you doing? Let me make sure that I am on here. Yeah, yep, and like I said, got the one screw up already out of the way. I didn't make sure that my mute was on when I was broadcasting there. So I already got the screw up, hopefully the one screw up out of the way. People can hear me, and if you're on Facebook, thank you for being here, but get your butt over to YouTube. I mean, if you're on Facebook, here's where you should be, okay? It's right there. It's the channel right here, and the reason why I say that is because if you're on YouTube, you're going to be able to know when to call in, when not to call in. You're going to have like really nice graphics to look at. You're still going to see a big fluffy pirate. Hey Martha, how you doing there, sweetheart? Please get over to YouTube, because here's the other thing, and I can't say it enough. And yes, it is a bit of self-advertisement, but when you're on YouTube, as the subscribers grow, and we're growing a little bit each day, first off, the sound and picture quality is a hell of a lot better. Second thing is that when you're on YouTube, as I hit the subscribers, the next check that I'm going to be having, I should say, is the is the 600 mark. I think we're at like 569 or something like that. Maybe a little more. But when I hit 600, what is that my guest? Yeah, it might be my guest. Hey, if my guest is listening, I'm still getting some reverb, and we'll talk about who my guest is in a minute. But as you get to the 100, each 100, I'm going to be giving away a nice Raider prize. Can't log into YouTube. Oh, Martha, we need to get that squared away. My parrot is chirping. Oh, that sounds kinky, Vicky. Anyway, we're going to go to YouTube. We're going to give away prizes. And when I get to the 1,000 mark, I have something in mind. I need to make sure I still have it. And if I do have it, trust me, it is a prize of, shall we say, if I still have it, Hall of Fame proportions. That's all I'm going to say. It's a prize of Hall of Fame proportion. You can take that as you can. Now, again, this is the regular Ask Captain Jack show on Thursdays, but what I wanted to start doing is when we do these shows, and I'm going to try to do this in the football season as well, but sometimes there are people that I want to make sure that they get into the broadcast, and I don't hear from them all the time. So, like the Tampa Bay Rays, who is a baseball team that does not cheat, by the way, at least they haven't been caught yet. Like the Tampa Bay Rays have introduced the last couple years, they have what they call an opener. And the opener is normally like a relief pitcher that can throw his arm, like really give you a lot of gas for like 1 to 2 innings and just totally befuddle the opponents on the other side. Usually an opener will go 1, 2, maybe sometimes 3 innings. Then they'll go to somebody else, and then we'll go from that. So with the opener concept here in the great Tampa Bay area, I welcome warmly one of my favorite people, definitely my favorite and only favorite, DC Wench. The one that I love beyond all rec. You know, gotta love my DC Wench. Ms. Peggy Holmes of the former DC Metro Raider Nation, actually Raider Boosters. Ms. Peggy who like, and the only other lady that is even on a par, I'd like to get Peggy Holmes and Andrea Dolan into a room, Andrea Trask, and just do just suck all the knowledge out of them, because these ladies have forgotten more things than most people know on purpose, and they still have more Raider knowledge than most of y'all. So having said that, very long-winded, I welcome you to my favorite DC Wench, Ms. Peggy Holmes. How you doing there, Ms. Peggy?
How you doing, Captain Jack? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine, honey.
All righty. And the DC Metro Raider Booster Club has retired, but we have a local club here, the DC Raider Nation. And they are on the web and, of course, on Facebook. You can find them under DC Raider Nation. So they are going to take up the baton for Vegas in the 21st century.
Well, there you go. The DC Raider family, I guess is the best way to say it. They haven't gone away, just a name change, but they are still a big, solvent group of people. And as I say to everybody, if you're traveling around the nation and you want to watch the Raiders and you don't want to be stuck in a hotel room, there are so many different Raider boosters and other different groups, black holes, chapters, and all those other things. Make sure you're reaching out, looking for these people, because there's nothing better than to go into, like maybe you're on business travel and you're there for Sunday and your flight's not until the next day, and you want to make sure you catch the Raider game. Make sure you reach out to your local chapters of the boosters, or the black hole, or the nomads, or the wrecking crew, or give me a name, whoever's doing a solidified grouping. Get with those folks, because there's nothing better than to be with your family watching a game. And I want to say thank you to Ms. Peggy, who when I was the president founder down here of the Florida Bay Area Raider Boosters, I had an angel with me for great advice and some great tutelage and now it's Miss Peggy Holmes. So Miss Peggy and a very few other people are the ones that I actually would listen to because I know I wasn't getting any bad gouge. So Peggy, again, thank you there, darling. I want to make sure everybody knows how heartfelt I think of you.
Thank you very much, Cat Jack. And people have to remember that there are hundreds of Raider clubs across the nation who have no affiliation. They are great clubs under great leadership. All of them open their arms and welcome guests and visitors. So go on the web, go on Facebook, and if you're traveling, like Captain Jack said, find them. They all are about giving the Raiders a presence in all 50 states in the United States and abroad.
So, Ms. Peggy, I asked you on here because, unfortunately, you were under the weather last week when we had what I thought was the major discussion of the off season, and it was one that was very telling for all of us. And again, if you missed it, make sure you go back on YouTube and you watch the show from last week. Actually, and make sure you watch the show from last night where we had Raider great kicker Jeff Jagger was on. So if you haven't seen those shows, please go back and look at them. But the show we had last week, we discussed in depth the Raider quarterback situation of 2020, and I of the mind that no matter how much we bitch, it's gonna fall upon deaf ears unless you have John Gruden's number and Mike Mayock's number in your cell. And of course, I talk to them all the time. They listen to me because they say, "Hey, Cap, what's going on?" And you know, and they say, "Hey, the old bastard pirate we're going to listen to." So unless you have their numbers like I do, tongue firmly planted in cheek, it's just going to fall upon deaf ears. But we all have our opinions. But let's make sure that at least when we have an opinion, it is an intelligent one that we can, have good mind with. And I wanted to open the floor. Miss Peggy and I have discussed this ad nauseum, but in a very intelligent way where we're reaching for points for against each other for the, tete-a-tete. And, like I said, if I'm not talking to Angry, I'm talking with Peggy on good Raider points. So, Miss Peggy, you got the floor. Is it going to be Derek Carr or pick a name that we don't know yet?
I'm still over here cracking up because the other part of the discussion on Derek Carr is perspective. That people don't look anywhere else but the Raiders, and they need to look at the entire league. Gruden and Mayock have problems. And the problem is that they've got a quarterback who by nature will never be that guy who's going to lift the team onto his shoulders, take the risks, and make the game-winning plays. Once you accept that, now you've got a problem. Can you live with it, number one? And number two, if you replace him, do you risk being the Denver Broncos 5 years later finding a quarterback replacement for Manning? Or do you hit the jackpot like Houston did with Watson and get a guy who can win games all by himself? That's the dilemma that Gruden and Mayock are facing. And being that they are conservative people, I just don't feel that this time that they're going to do anything about Carr until they give him the opportunity to show off his skill set. And he can't do that without some receivers that he trusts.
Well,
Carr,
I was going to say, last year was supposed to be that year. We had a gentleman, and trust me, I'm being nice calling this son of a bitch a gentleman, with the number 84 that was supposed to be the end-all be-all for Mr. Derek Carr to throw to. And we all know how that transpired, but that was the year where we were going to have that person, and we were going to have an X or a Y factor in Terrell Williams that was going to spread the field. We were going to have receivers like Ryan Grant and the other fast kid whose name escapes me that we ended up cutting as well.
Just J.J. Nelson. But
yeah, there you go.
People still don't understand. The only returning receiver that Carr had this year was Aikman.
Yeah, the only one.
And you cannot build without continuity and chemistry. Every receiver on the field, even if AB had been there, it would have been their first year Carr would have worked with them. Carr is not the kind of guy that's going to trust his receivers until they show him something. He's not the guy like Brady that's going to be the general out there directing people and telling them where they be and telling them what hip and what shoulder the ball is going to come over. He's not going to ever be that guy. That's why I say Mayock and Gruden have an issue. They have to think about the fact that they're going to have to build the kind of offense and the kind of players that they need around Carr. There are things that also people always neglect in this conversation about Carr. What's one thing that all the playoff quarterbacks had that Carr has never had?
Continuity?
A top 10 defense.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that too. Yeah.
I mean, you can't underestimate what a shutdown defense does for a quarterback's confidence and his comfort zone. He can make mistakes, like Garoppolo over there throwing interceptions still, but yet they win the game. You can't have unless you have a complete team. Carr is not going to be the guy that wins everything for you. To expect him to be a Russ Wilson, to be a Breeze, to be a Brady is just unrealistic.
Gotcha.
Pipe dreams, and I don't even talk to people anymore that go there.
Well,
it's not realistic.
Yeah. So
only
Peggy,
5 teams in the NFL have quarterbacks that are capable of winning the game all by themselves. Let's add Rodgers in there, and of course Mahomes. That leaves 26 teams that have quarterbacks like Carr. They need to have everything in place around them to win.
So now, who are those the 6 quarterbacks that you said could basically put the team on their shoulders and do it themselves?
Wilson.
Rodgers. Got it.
Breeze.
Yep.
Brady.
Yeah.
Mahomes. Now, do you have somebody to add to the list? I don't know what you're thinking about.
I was going to say...
I'm talking about guys that can win. Then you have this second-tier quarterbacks.
And maybe...
We're also in the playoffs.
Right.
And that first-year guys...
Yeah.
They haven't done it for year after year after year after the list I just named.
Right, and I was thinking about adding Dak to that.
These guys are standing on the verge.
Right.
Yeah, they're standing on the verge. And this is where I hear more nonsense out of people's mouths. Comparing Carr with the likes of a Josh Allen or a Tannehill or a Garoppolo even. And I'm saying to myself, but look what they got around them. Top defenses.
Mm-hmm.
Receivers. I mean, these are things that they have complete teams are playing around them. Carr is never gonna be a top tier quarterback. Not ever. He is by nature. He's not a risk taker.
No, he's not. Now, Peggy, and I agree with you, but the thing that upsets me about Derek Carr, and I've said it again ad nauseum to all the crowd here, and they know it, is what pisses me off more than anything else is when he throws it at the foot of a receiver on a third down play that maybe he can get out, and definitely on a fourth down play.
You're doing it too, Captain Jack. You just did what I said that everybody's doing. That is ridiculous.
Well, wait.
You're expecting him to convert those third downs, to take the team on his shoulder and by sheer force of will win those games. He's not that kind of guy.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you got an opportunity and it's 3rd and something, okay, and relatively, let's say short, let's say 6 yards and under, it's 3rd and something, and you're rolling around the pocket and you're evading the rush, okay, and he will get out and evade the rush.
And why doesn't he find that receiver and make that completion?
Well, that or
throw it away or do something smarter than throwing it down at the feet, which I've only seen him do it 3 or 4 times this year.
He's done it more than that.
Let's say it this way. He, in his mind, felt like that was the only option he had. You're asking his brain to function in a way that it does not function.
Okay.
And it's sad to hear that. Sorry, but that's why I started off by saying Gruden and Mayock have a problem.
Oh, yeah.
They got to decide whether they're going to be satisfied with this or they're going to go out and gamble.
And what now? I always tell people, I said, don't get rid of something unless you have something foolproof that you're going to replace it with. Don't ever say, hey, we got a problem with X. I said, okay, well, if you got a problem with X, give me a solution. Well, I don't got a solution. I'm just saying we got a problem. Well, screw you. Don't just add to the problem. Give me a solution. So I say,
and when you come up with, and Captain Jack, when you come up with a solution, take the time to go to Pro Football Reference and look up this guy's record over the years. Don't throw me Teddy Bridgewater when I know, number one, he doesn't produce points. Number two, he works just like Carr with what he has. Of course he looked good in New Orleans. Look at what he got around him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Of course he looked good in Minnesota.
Yeah. Now, and actually,
don't throw me what you think will work, and then this craziness about Tom Brady. I mean, we're just grabbing at straws because we don't know what to do about Carr, as I suspect Gruden and Mayock don't know either.
Yeah. Now, actually, both Andrea said the same thing. He said, even I, and I'm thinking she was talking about both myself and her, can play in New Orleans and be great because we got everybody around us. We got Kamara and we got some guy by the name of Murray in the backfield.
And we've also got, of course, Michael Thomas.
We got
Offensive Player of the Year, field stretching #1.
Right.
Wide receiver.
We got some tight ends.
We got Jared Cook at tight end.
Yep.
He's got weapons. He's got a stable coaching staff that's been there how many years? 10 years plus?
Well, other than the...
except a year for Bounty Gate.
There you go. I was going to say...
Don't let me forget that.
Except for when they got shit canned for a year for cheating. Oh, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily cheating.
You did. You said it.
Well, technically it wasn't cheating. It was doing something against the rules. Because it wasn't cheating. It was just it wasn't kosher. I'll say that.
But they've got stability down there in New Orleans. They've got stability. And one thing Carr has not had since the day he entered the league, 4 games into the first season as a rookie, they fire his head coach.
Uh-huh.
And the turmoil has continued going on. And one thing I've said about the making of a championship quarterback, they all have one thing in common. They have the same head coach, the same offensive coordinator, probably the same quarterbacks coach, although I don't know for sure, in the first 5 years of their development.
True.
Look at all of them.
Well,
you want Carr to be what he cannot be.
No, I want Carr to at least on the 4th down plays. I'm going to not.
You think he's not out there trying?
No. I want him to. I mean, if it's 4th down, Peggy. Wait a second.
That's the sad part about it. He is out there giving you his best.
Wait a second. I give to you case in point. In Kansas City, where I'm freezing my you-know-whatsies off, it's 4th down. He's on the 6-yard line, right? It's 4th down on their 6. And he runs around and he tries to get people open, right? And it's
right.
like nobody's open.
Which people are you talking about getting open? Name them.
Okay, whoever was playing receiver at the time. Okay.
Oh, we can't even name them. When in the history of the Oakland Raiders we couldn't even name the number of receivers we don't have so many
I could say it was probably I can't remember exactly that game, but I think it was Aitman, probably Williams. It might have been Doss. Because we did have some injuries. But what my point was if it's fourth down, Peggy, fourth down on their 6-yard line. The worst that can happen.
Why in the heck doesn't he make a play?
No, why doesn't he at least throw the effing ball? Because 3 things are going to happen. You're either going to get an incompletion, you're either going to get a touchdown, or you might get a pass interference penalty against the bastards that are covering the receivers. Although that game,
Carr long enough and no, that's not the way he thinks.
Well,
you want him to be.
I want him to throw the ball. No, Peggy
is not.
No, Peggy, you're wrong there. What I want him to be is to at least be football smart, IQ wise, to know if it's fourth down. You're not gaining anything by throwing it into the effing dirt. Throw the ball.
We all know this, Cap Jack.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. You're right on so many levels, but that doesn't address the problem we have. We have someone who has not gained enough confidence in the people that he's playing with to make the kind of plays that you're talking about, to make the decisions that you're talking about. He just doesn't have that level of confidence. Gruden's got to do something about it.
Okay. Well, I want to move on to the next subject because trust me, a lot of people are digging you, Peggy. I want to make sure you're looking at the comments. So you're a star.
Comments?
Oh yeah. No. You're a star on that, and I'm trying to get to
the chat thing. I see the thing. Okay.
Yeah, the comments you're loved. Okay, and by the way, Billy Harris. First off, Billy, get the YouTube. Okay, because I'm going to give you that number in a minute. Okay. When I'm ready to call, and when my opener's done, I am going to open up the phone lines, okay?
Sure.
And Cheryl, thanks for if you're watching, share up the YouTube link, okay? So and again, we'll get through. And again, thank you for watching on Facebook. Please go to YouTube. Trust me, there's better things. Okay, the second thing that I'm going to talk about, Peggy, is something that has irked both of us. And that is the exclusion, nay, shall we call it blackballing, nay, can we say the definitive NFL FU to the Oakland Raider franchise for the upteenth time of people that are deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. And this year I give you Cliff Branch posthumously, which sucks, and Coach Tom Flores, who if we don't get him into the Hall of Fame sometime soon, it's going to be posthumously as well. And it's effed up. And I give you this. I used to have the stats in front of me, but I've been so engaged with Peggy, I lost the page that I had the stats. But look up the stats of Cliff Branch and put him up against Lynn Swann and John Stallworth, receivers of his era that he is marked against, that he is pretty much compared with, okay? If you look at the stats, the only thing that those two guys have on him is one more ring. One more ring, because his stats are on par, if not better, than Lynn Swann, on par, if not better, than John Stallworth. But because they have an extra Super Bowl ring, they're in, and Cliff Branch is not. And since we're going to go there about comparisons, I'm going to give you a quick comparison right now. Just recently, okay, we had two coaches who, by the way, work for TV, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hint, hint, that get into the Hall of Fame.
Did you see that mess, that favoritism? Don't get me started on it. Did you see that just class until January 15th.
Right.
And they come on these, because they're talking head boys. They come on the show and come on these shows and then, give them their moment in the sun all by themselves.
Well,
separate and apart from the group.
Oh, well, you can't say separate but equal because those are bad words, but I digress. Yeah, they did it all for TV. They did it all for TV.
Yeah, some people thought it was real cute.
No.
I thought it was classless, and I thought it was unfair to the other nominees in the class. But Jay, I got once again a risky off-base opinion about this whole Cliff Branch Flores thing.
Okay, go ahead.
And
that's what you're here for.
Against Raiders. First of all, does anybody know how many true Raiders? That means guys that were in the Raiders all their career are in the Hall of Fame right now. Does anybody know? Does anybody count it?
That have been in
Because I did.
As a Raider and never with anybody else. Wow, that's a great question.
Right, that's 17, okay?
Yeah.
Let's add another 8 who play for other teams, made it to the that's 25 Raiders that are in the Hall of Fame right now.
Right.
Now, of course, there's no question in my mind that Flores and Branch are deserving. So I don't want the storyline to be said that I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that makes us the third highest number of players in the Hall of Fame before this year's class came in. I am not saying that Flores and Branch don't belong in, but what I am saying that part of the consideration might have been is there's a lot of Raiders in the Hall of Fame.
Well, there's a lot of Raiders that need to be in the Hall of Fame.
Is that there are also equally deserving players from other teams who also didn't get in.
Okay.
This year, a la Drew Pearson, Roger Craig, and I can go on. Don Coryell. But what I really think we need to focus on is the super secret way they do things and the lack of transparency in the whole HOF process. I would suggest our energies go there. And while we're at it, let's talk about the statistically significant findings of studies on the way in which the NFL has penalized the Raiders since the 60s.
Oh, yeah. That was my third cue. You're going right there on segue.
Oh, I'm sorry, Captain.
No. Exactly, because I was going to bring that up. The article. Thank you. No, you're the greatest segue going, Peggy, because that's where I was going next.
See, we need to address the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Instead of us talking to each other and complaining how terrible it is, we need to talk about the corruption, the bias, the lack of transparency in the NFL, period. We need to the Raiders as a nation, as fans, need to start writing letters. Lester Hayes you just posted Lester Hayes requesting that we write those letters to the Hall of Fame, but we need to go beyond that. The NFL is in New York City. We need to start picking it.
Yeah.
We need the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The one that makes the most noise gets the most attention. And I don't care what they think our reasons are. We can prove there is bias against the Raiders coming from the NFL. We can prove it.
Yeah. And like I said, that article, which the guy's an intel officer, or excuse me, a naval intel officer, which of course means he's awesome. Because I'm a naval intel guy myself, not that I'm doing this. But yeah, Navy intel, number one, baby, but I digress. Naval intelligence officer who took it upon himself to statistically break down how biased and how the Raiders get screwed, unlike every other team in the NFL. And the thing that you need to remember, people, is that the players change, the coaches change, even the officials change. But one thing that does not change is the fact that the Raiders lead the league, or at least like top 3 in the league every effing year? How is that statistically possible? I give to you the game in Kansas City where you have a division game with the Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs, a game in which you know it's going to be hard fought. You know there's going to be some bad emotion there. You can't tell me that at the end of the game, the Raiders have 12 penalties and the Kansas City Chiefs have 0. And the one penalty...
But, Captain Jack, that's the most significant finding of this study, is that the Raiders' opponents, week after week, always receive the least amount of penalties.
Yeah.
And this was just for 2019. He didn't bother to go track it back to the 60s where we should be tracking it back. We need to do this homework because we can prove that there is a bias against the Raiders. Of course, we hold the record, the NFL record, right? Captain Jack, you and I were together in Tampa Bay and watched 23 penalties get called against our Raiders. 23.
Yeah. It was horrendous. It was horrendous. I was like, are you effing kidding me?
No. There's definitely something, and that ties into the Hall of Fame bias as well. But we must remember that it's not like we don't have anybody in the Hall of Fame. We've got 17 true Raiders and 8 that are multi-team. They're Raiders at one time. And that's 25 in the Hall of Fame, and that is more than 27 teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I understand. I know that the Packers and the Bears, I think, are 1 and 2, obviously for longevity.
And Pittsburgh Steelers are 3. And we're number 4, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And
that's even without Flores and Branch. And I have to think that played into it someday. We also need to be more generous with the people that did make it in, that helped us, like Steve Sable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And his dad, Ed Sable, who was already in, who, of course, came up with a poem that no other NFL team has, a theme song, something that no other NFL team has.
Yeah, the autumn wind is a Raider, baby. Bustling in from
Sable,
sea.
John Facenda.
That's it. The voice
got
of
into
God.
The Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, the voice of God, man. There wouldn't be a Raider mystique. I honestly believe this. There wouldn't be a Raider mystique if there hadn't have been John Facenda voicing over the poem of The Autumn Wind is a Raider. I mean, you have that, and everybody who is anybody that's a little bit on the refined olderment side knows that poem because we all say it, and the Raider mystique was brought upon by that poem, and then you have the voice of God, John Facenda voicing it. You can't beat that. You definitely can't beat that.
You can't. But the drums playing in the background, the music crescendo, the trumpets. Hey. That was just magic, and even today, like I said, there's no other team in the NFL can match that.
Oh, no.
I mean, we have so many things to be thankful for, but get back to your issue, and I'm just going to leave you with this. We need to take action. We need to stop complaining to each other and start getting loud about this bias. And if Mark Davis and the Raiders don't do anything, that's on them. I'm not interested in them. I'm interested in us Raider fans not turning bitter about this, but turning their anger into something that makes noise.
I got you, and we should. So for those that are unaware, make sure you go over to Lester Hayes' page, the persona page on Facebook. He asks that Raider fans submit letters, and not just emails, guys. Let's do it the old-fashioned way because it gets noticed. Emails don't mean crap. I mean, they don't. It doesn't mean crap. Get yourself now you can type it out, okay, and at least sign it. okay, to make sure that, but get yourself, if you could write it, it even makes more of an impact. The old school way, writing an effing letter to the National Football League and the Hall of Fame in Canton and saying, and don't swear, because and like if you know,
oh shoot,
well I'll shoot because if you know, well okay maybe one, but make it a good one. But I'm just saying, if you're eloquent, if you have righteous in your words, if you are erudite and urbane, if you don't know what those words are, please look them up. If you have a smart argument, just say that there is something, quoting William Shakespeare, there is something awful in Denmark, i.e. there's something that
rotten.
Smells. There you go, there's something rotten in Denmark.
I mean, and it's been rotten for a while, and it's been against the Raiders, and God bless Al Davis. He's been gone 8 years, so what is their excuse?
Yeah, what is their excuse? And again,
all right,
get yourself a letter, get yourself a pen that works, which for me is actually getting something that is hard to get at times. Get your letter writing campaign out there. And by the way, Jared, who is Jared's a Steeler fan, but he's probably one of my number one contributors. I want to see something from you, Jared, as well. I want to see a letter from a Steeler fan that says that you get it and that there is something wrong with what went on with Cliff Branch not making the Hall of Fame, and especially with Tom Flores, who has 2 Super Bowl rings as a Raider head coach, another Super Bowl ring as a player with the Kansas City Chiefs, and another Super Bowl ring as the assistant head coach of the Raiders. That's 4 freaking rings to Jimmy Johnson's 2. Jimmy deserved it. I'll give him
Jimmy
that.
deserved it. I gave Jimmy the cow. He shouldn't be on it. All he did was pick up Chuck Noll's breakfast and served it for lunch and dinner.
Oh,
That's it.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything innovative or spectacular on his own.
That's
and
right.
He still could only win 1 Super Bowl.
That's right. He was on a Knowles jock, and he gets 1 Super Bowl win. He lost one too, so he's even got something that Flores doesn't have, which is a Super Bowl loss. And he's in the Hall of Fame. Why? Because the chin is on TV, and he's good TV.
That's right. He's one of their good old pal, bosom buddies.
That's right.
So, of course, he gets a separate announcement as well as induction, and no way he gets in before Flores.
No way. But it happened. But we need to do something about it.
Instead of us complaining, we need to start writing. We need to start making noise. We need to organize, really. And some people are thinking about working on this. We need to organize protests.
Well,
and get some news coverage.
Oh, yeah.
And start putting these facts and figures in front of the news media. The NFL can't stand bad publicity.
Well, you get me a date, Peggy, and trust me, if I'm not doing something really, really awesome down here, I will be there dressed to the nines, picketing in front of the NFL complex. And I'll be there. I know you'd be there. And anybody that wants to join us, if we got something going, I'll be there.
That's right. I see on some of the comments, people are talking about Andy Dalton. All y'all have to do is picture Thursday night football against the Miami Dolphins 5 years ago. The boy is in overtime. All he has to do is get rid of the ball. What happens? He gets sacked in the end zone for a safety, game over. I can never take that out of my mind about Andy Dalton. And when a team like the Bengals says, adios, amigo, this is a guy that's not going to be any better than Carr.
Yeah. And again, folks, Peggy has forgotten more shit that you guys know on purpose, and she still has more knowledge than you.
Trying. And I listen to people like you and so many others who teach me more and more about the game every day.
Well, Peggy, I tell you, just listening to you, and getting some of your insight. You know, like I said, the two ladies that I respect most for football knowledge with the Raiders are you and Andrea, and I'll have you ladies on every day of the week if we could. But I know you got to run, but I've loved having you on as my opener. And
I love being here. Your DC Winch is always here, ready to make sure that other perspectives get heard other than the tunnel vision of just Raiders.
There you go. There you go. Well, Peggy, thank you for being my opener tonight. I know that other people wanted to come on, but like I said, I don't think you can follow Peggy. Don't even try to follow Peggy, but you're gonna have to call in anyway, because we're gonna talk about all the things that we opened up today. So Peggy,
thank you so much, Cap Jack, and you know we'll be talking soon.
Okay, well, see, somebody even they're getting you off on the line already. Peggy, I'm gonna answer this.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, take care, Peggy.
Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks again, honey. That was Peggy Holmes, and again, very large knowledge base. And if we're talking a large knowledge base, the first one up is another historian. And yeah, Peggy does need a show, Vicky. She does. I'd have Peggy on. I do like the captain and the two wenches of knowledge. I just shut up and let Peggy and Andrea talk. Steve, welcome to the show. Did you know that the line was kind of not open, or you just wanted to come in?
Well, I knew it was open because I was watching. I just became a new subscriber, Captain, to your show and Murph show. So I'm glad you always have this forum and everything. I always enjoy your shows.
Oh, well, thank you.
Murph shows.
Thank you there, sir. And again, not that we were chasing Peggy, but Peggy was at the and like I said, love Peggy Holmes. Love Peggy Holmes. And again, I wanted to make sure I didn't lose you, because the last time you called, I think I had to bounce you like twice, and I didn't want to do that. And again, Peggy Holmes, thank you as well. We love you. Steve from Houston, again, a Raider historian. So we got a lot of knowledge base in this audience, not including the old fluffy pirate. Steve, what are your views for what we are hitting off the top today? And I'm not even going to put words in your mouth, brother. You just go.
Well, I tell you what, Peggy, we always enjoy her history knowledge and her passion, and I believe in that too. When I first found out about Coach Flores not getting the Hall of Fame and everything, and Coach Cowher, I thought that was a travesty. I still do. I was really upset. I said, we need to get this man in, because unfortunately I don't want it to be like another tennis table where he goes at me. They purposely do this to him because they're still mad at Al. People like John McClain here in Houston, the beat writer, he's on the selection committee, and he does everything possible to trash the Raiders any chance he gets. That's Murphy. He's on the show up there in Nashville. He's in Knoxville. He's in Waco. He's in Houston. He's all over the place, and he is on a vendetta, and it's a personal thing with him against Al Davis. Al Davis is gone. Let it go for the good of the league. God, help us. As we know, just think about all the things that Tom Flores did. The first Hispanic quarterback, the first coach to win a Super Bowl. I mean, the accolades go on from here to eternity. Same thing with Cliff Branch. How can you put in Harold Carmichael over Cliff Branch and Alex Karras and these other people? Do they do 1/10 of the things that Cliff did? Yeah, being a native Houstonian, yes, we love Cliff Branch and we love Lester Hayes and, of course, all the other great Raiders. If you ever wore a Raider uniform, we love you and everything. And I love the interviews you did with Jeff Jagger and the other great players that you've interviewed. And it blows my mind that they can overlook all the great things he did. Yes, he wasn't, he had some tough times there in Seattle and everything, but based on the breadth and the depth of his what he gave to the NFL and everything, and all the great fans that he brought into the league, and we all love Cliff and everything. He was always the first guy to, when you went to Raider Image or any of the events, he would walk up to you, and especially if you knew you were from Houston itself, he never turned anybody down. He always had a smile, was always thinking positive, and he was just such a charismatic person, as Coach Flores is as well. I mean, you couldn't ask for two nicer people, in my opinion, that I've ever met that ever donned a Raider uniform, Captain.
Yeah, great insight there, Steve. Now, I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to say that being that I'm from Philly, and I actually even spoke about this last night with Jeff Jagger, I said when I was a boy in Philadelphia as a Raider fan, the only thing that the Eagles, and that's spelled and spoken correctly, the only thing that the Eagles had was Harold Carmichael. I mean, Harold Carmichael was about, well, granted, he was about, 6'7", maybe 6'8", the prototype, long, decent speed receiver, long arms, and could catch everything in sight. So I'd have to look at the numbers. I'm not saying that he is in a comparison to Cliff Branch, but if you look at it as far as how a receiver that dominated his position in his own right, I would say that maybe we're gonna have Harold Carmichael in. Now, Alex Karras, I gotta say, and here's the other thing. Somebody was saying, well, why did Alex Karras make it when he bet on the NFL? Guys, if you guys don't know, Paul Hornung was in the Hall of Fame for a long time already, and he and Alex Karras were both bounced for gambling against the NFL. So if you're going to say, well, why is he in? It was already, the prototype was already set when Paul Hornung went into the Hall of Fame as a gambler. Now, Alex Karras had a storied career. I'd have to really look to see if he was that dominant or that much of a person that was a legitimate Hall of Famer. I'm sure that they were saying that, again, Alex had a movie career as well. He was the face of he was actually one of the first members of Monday Night Football, if you guys don't remember that. So he was a prototype in that regard as well. And yeah, if you say, well, he was also on Webster, I mean, you're really pulling for shit. But here's the other thing. Well, okay, Mike Surrey didn't have any, no Super Bowl wins for Carmichael, but that's because the Eagles never got there. But there are people that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. The fact that Drew Pearson is not in the Hall of Fame is a travesty as well. There are plenty of people that need to be in the Hall of Fame. I think that maybe one of the reasons or the things that we need to go after is the fact that we need to get these rules updated, because there are people that need to be in the effing Hall of Fame and they're not because of whatever these rules are. But go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry. I kind of clipped you on thoughts. I apologize.
No problem. Don't get me wrong. Harold Carmichael deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. The most important thing I was thinking is we need to, number one, get Coach Flores and Cliff Branch in. And, of course, you also have to think of, after those two, you always think of Plunkett and Lester Hayes, obviously. But Bill Berkey was another great player. Played, obviously, as you know. And but the thing is, with me and everything, we ought to have something where the fans have some kind of input. You can't have people that are selectors for the NFL Hall of Fame that have personal grudges, especially against Al. I can't think of anybody else who people have more personal grudges. As the selection committee, they're doing this purposely to put the screws to Al Davis. And this is so petty. And they're like that guy, Bill Conlon up there was always bragging about, well, he voted against certain players because he didn't think they should go in on the first ballot so they could be known as one of the guys that held it up. These people have been there for so long. They've had so much power. I think that they ought to have something, don't you think, Captain, where they ought to have it where it turns over every 10 years or something, where you get to have new selectors instead of having the same old good old boys, Smokfield Room bunch that always gets to pick every year because they're generally going to try to screw them as long as they can.
Yeah, and by the way, Mike Sarah, you are right. I knew that Harold made it with Jaws and the Eagles, and actually Jerry Robinson was in that Super Bowl too, so he actually lost to the Raiders before he was a Raider. So again, I apologize. I knew in my mind that Harold had made it, but it was the one year that the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. They've actually made it twice before anybody clips me on that. Actually 3 times, because they finally beat the Patriots. They lost to the Patriots and they lost to the Raiders. So yes, I do know my shit. But yeah, Harold Carmichael does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, even though he does not have a Super Bowl ring. So again, they need to do things differently. They need to update what is a Hall of Famer, because right now they're letting in people that are not in the Hall of Fame, and they should be in the Hall of Fame. Oh, of course, yeah, of course. When Alex Karras, when you have Mongo in Blazing Saddles, that's probably one of the reasons why he's in. Hey, Steve, I am gonna let you go if you don't mind. I'm gonna get over to Jared.
Have a great night and good health to you, Captain. Everybody, great show.
Okay, thank you there, Steve. Always great hearing from you. That was Houston Steve. And now we have our Pittsburgh report from our favorite Stiller. Jared is on the line. Jared, how you doing, brother?
Good, Captain Jack. How are you doing this fine Thursday night?
Not bad, not bad. Looks like we're gonna have a long show because again, Peggy and I did about 45 minutes on our own, and I'm digging it.
And she was good, and kudos to you, Peggy. Well done, Howard. You had a lot to talk about. I'll tell you two guys who should be in the Hall of Fame, Howard. When you talk about it before I get into it, but you're right about Flores, Howard. You're right about Pearson. They should have both been recognized in all branch, but two guys who have not gotten the credit they deserve. Myron Cope of Pittsburgh, who started the terrible South, but also Bill King.
Oh, yeah.
And come on. You got to put, if you're going to put players in, start making a hall for the announcing legends, Howard. The guys who brought you the games back in the day, the Pat Summers, the Tom Brookshires. Do that now. Add that to the legacy if you want to make it more fun. I think that's what you've got to do as far as the Hall of Fame goes.
And they have that in baseball. They have the baseball announcers and the writers and the people. They have their own section. Now, the NFL does have what they call contributors, but still, that's a very short and small gamut of people that can go in as a contributor. Let the announcers and the writers have their own wing of the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
I agree with you there. Bill King should be in the Hall of Fame. Myron Cope, oh my God. The guy who made the terrible towel, get him in the Hall of Fame. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I got a story about Myron you're going to laugh at. This is an honest-to-God true story. This happened when I was 14 now. This is when I was 14. A long time ago, Myron had a sports show in Pittsburgh, however, and this is one of the very first talk shows I ever called in, sports talk shows in Pittsburgh. Well, one night, however, this is when call waiting first came out, and at the time, my dad, however, who was working, said, if anyone calls for my work, please tell them you'll be right there. Well, one night, I'm talking sports with Myron on a sports talk show here in Pittsburgh. Well, beep comes in. Sure enough, however, it was my dad. I said to Myron, I got to put you on hold for a second, Myron. This is an important call for my dad's work. He needs to take this. Myron blew a gasket on the air, so screaming like a banshee. He's like, this kid put me on hold. And he freaked out. I'm dead freaking serious. So he flips out. My dad talks to the guy. I get back on with Myron. Myron accidentally hung up on me because he was so angry and livid about what I did. A couple weeks go by. My dad wrote him a nice letter, and of course he worked with the charity, one of the charities in Pittsburgh. Well, Myron sent me the original Terrible Towel, an autographed letter, and a picture said, keep doing what you're doing, Jared. You will be a broadcast like Bill one day because of your knowledge. And when Myron passed away, the morning he passed away, the morning news, however, talked about his passing. Well, the newscasters were taking calls from Pittsburgh fans. My dad called in. I called in after him and told him the same story I'm telling you now. And the newscasters on the air, after my dad told him the story, and then I told him the exact same story, they said, was that your father telling the story that just came on the air before you? I said, yes, it was. They had to excuse themselves and go off the air for about a minute or two because they couldn't keep themselves from laughing too hard. So, honest to God, that is one of my favorite Myron stories, Howard, of all time, Howard. But I met the man a few years before his passing, and I told him who I was, and he says, you were the one who put me on hold back then. I said, yes, I was, Myron. So I have an autographed book signed from him, one of the books he wrote before his passing. But yeah, he was one of the nicest guys. I have a few friends' dads. My friend's dad and his son used to know him all the time. Did a lot of charity work in Pittsburgh. But yeah, that's an honest-to-God true story of Myron Cope and me back in the day when I was like 13 or 14.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And again, I agree. Cope and King in the Hall of Fame for sure.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like I said, you have other guys, people too. I mean, Tom Brookshire, like I said, I mean, is another legendary announcer. You can put him in the Hall of Fame. Lindsey Nelson. I mean, all the old legends that were past and present. You got to do it. But like I said, the real story, of course, of the week, Howard, is the baseball cheating thing. Besides the Hall of Fame, I mean, it's sad that baseball has come to this, especially this close to spring training, just around the corner. I mean, Beltran quits today. We saw what Cora did.
Nah. Beltran didn't quit. He was bounced. You know it. I know it. Cora was bounced. They said that they have a mutual exclusion of we've come to the conclusion that it would be best for us if we part. Yeah, bullshit. They were bounced, and it's all a PR stunt to keep them from saying that he was fired from the job. Beltran was fired before he even managed the game, which is unfortunate. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Exactly. And it's a black-eye baseball did not need this close 3 weeks out from spring training. And now, like you said, I'm sure we're going to find more about this. There's still more people they're going to be talking to. I mean, how much more does this report from Manfred want to go? How much more deeper do they want to keep digging, you know? I mean, that's the big million-dollar question right now. How much do they want to keep investigating into the matter?
Yeah. And like I said, we got cheaters in Houston. And, of course, that main cheater goes to be the manager of the Red Sox, who the very next year wins the World Series. And I tell you what, I'm sure that Tommy Beard, if he's listening, I'm sure I'm going to hear a bellyful from Tommy Beard. And, again, try not to swear as much. Even I hit him every now and again, but try not to. But I know Tommy Beard's going to talk about that as well, that his manager, who I'm sure can do no wrong, was wrongly outed and yada, 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 yeah. Tommy, I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, spring training's just around the corner, so we'll find out. However, time will tell. I will be down in Florida in April, just to give you a heads up, pal. I'm going with a couple friends of mine. Me and my friends are coming down to Tampa for WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium. So if I am around, I'll have to give you a ring, Howard, when I'm down there.
Sure. In April, I don't have any plans on leaving in April, so hopefully I'll get a chance to see you.
All right, sounds good. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right, well, thanks for the call, Jared.
No problem. See you. Bye.
All right, that's Jared. Always get my Jared. Well, I should say always, but 99% of the time, if Jared's available, I'm going to get a call in from Jared. Line is open, 813-699-0834. I hit the wrong one. We've had a lot of great corporate knowledge. Like I said, Peggy, Holmes, love you. Jared, that's awesome. Put Myron Cope on hold. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, let me get this one. That's Doc Burdett. How you doing there, brother? What's going on?
Hey, doing pretty good. Hey, I just was hearing what Jerry said about that cheating in baseball, and I gotta say one thing: why can't the NFL come down like a hammer like they did in baseball? They let the Patriots cheat over and over again, and they barely slap them on the wrist.
Well, what I'm waiting for is I'm trying to think, not abstention, the abdication. There's a term for it where they basically take the title away. If they have enough on the Astros, they should take their title away. I mean, they do it in the NCAA when Howard Porter, who, by the way, used to be my boss in Orlando, one of the best players, was it for Temple or Villanova? It was one of those PA schools. Howard Porter leads them to a championship, was the MOP, most outstanding player in college basketball. Love Howard Porter. May he rest in peace. Unfortunately, he died in with some gun fights or whatnot. Not directed at him, but gun violence hit Howard Porter, and that was after he straightened up his life as a drug user. But when he was named the most outstanding player, when he did something against the NCAA rules, they took it away from him. Okay, when Reggie Bush screwed up, they took the Heisman away from Reggie Bush. So why can't you take the title away from these people? Why is it that when you see that the Patriots cheat, you say, you know what? You don't got a Super Bowl. We're not going to recognize it, okay? Why can't we do that? I don't understand that.
I think we should. And I don't think baseball's done. And the reason why I say baseball's not done is because they told the other players and stuff right now, they put like a little gag order. And a lot of times when you do that, it's because you're still investigating. I think they're trying to catch as much as they can. And I hope that's the case. I hope that we're not done. I want the Major League Baseball to clean it up. Because it takes away from the integrity of the game.
It does. It does. Now, for those that are going to throw, and I know they're going to throw it, the Raiders, even John Madden said, if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough. I get it. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. But there's a difference in my mind with little mental games of cheating, blatantly obvious cheating.
There's difference from trying to get a little jump on the call than actually filming someone's signals. There's a difference in deflating and making a change in the way the ball is in cold weather compared to someone who, he held a little bit. There's penalties. You get caught holding, you get penalized. You get 15 downs, 15 yards on certain penalties if you get caught with a face mask. But I'm just telling you, there's a difference in someone who may hold or clinch, because you can pretty much call holds on every play.
Yeah, you can.
But there's a big difference between that and filming, deflating balls, and everything else. There's levels of,
There's levels of deceit. Yeah, there's cheating. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
How many times they grab a jersey sometimes and try to slow a receiver up?
Right.
It's everybody does it.
Yeah, and remember, if they catch you doing something that's not quite right, like the Raiders used to put Vaseline on their jerseys. They used to, make their what's that stuff that was like plaster of Paris? It gets really hard eventually, and it's like rolling around with concrete. I mean, the Raiders cheated. I get that, but it's cheating with an advantage vice, just out and out blatantly deceitful bullshit, especially in this day and age of the modern era. That's why things need to be done. I get it. I understand about cheating with the Raiders, so I'm not gonna be two-faced about that. I get it, but there's some obvious things that need to be addressed. I think you're with me on that there, Doc.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying we're the poster child of trying to follow every rule, but I also think there's degrees.
Yeah.
There's obvious degrees of cheating. Trying to steal people's signals on the pitch is different than, a little extra pine tar on your back going up a little bit too far.
Yeah.
The George Brett pine tar. I don't know I know you're pretty sure you remember that.
Oh, the George Brett pine. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he deliberately did it that high, but if they catch you, it's the rule. Then you can go batshit crazy like George did, but if it's under the letter of the law, then it's cheating. When Sosa got was it the corked bat with the Super Bowls that were in the bat? It's cheating. So he got ejected. So there's various degrees. They need to do something that's about it, and it needs to be a severe and swift thing. The NFL came closest to it when they said that Greg Williams and Sean Payton were gone for the year. Okay. The baseball kind of did that when they said that the general manager and A.J. Hinch were gone for the year. And then the Astros said, screw this, you guys are gone, period. And that's close. But take the effing title. It's meaningless.
But they did $5 million in fines and took away draft picks.
Which will hurt. But if you're taking away $5 million from a organization whose net worth starts with a B, it's like
that's true. You're right.
Yeah, if their net worth is in the maybe they're not worth $1 billion, but let's say that the Astros are worth at least $750 million, and that's a conservative estimate for a baseball team. Okay, if they're worth $750 million, and you say, hey, we need you to give up $5 million of that. It's like, oh, okay. It's kind of like the old story about Ted Hendricks that everybody brings up. Is that Ted Hendricks throws? He sees that there's a $5 bill in the shitter, And he says, well, shit, I ain't going to go after a $5 bill. That's not worthy of it. So he throws a $100 bill in the shitter, and then he goes and gets them both. Why? Because it's worth it to him to get $105 out of a commode, vice just a $5 bill or a $1 bill or whatever it was. So you got to make it worthwhile. You got to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. And I don't think Major League Baseball's done. I really don't. I really think that they're still... I still think they're investigating. At least I hope so. And I really think that they're going to, and because I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan, you know that.
Yep.
Big Pete Rose fan.
Yep.
Love Pete Rose. He bet on baseball.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything to the detriment of. I mean, he didn't cheat in baseball. He played so hard, and that's what pisses me off about Pete Rose in the fact that he bet on baseball, but he didn't cheat on baseball. I mean, I know that there's semantics there.
And he didn't throw any games.
Yeah. He wants to win. He wants to win.
He was betting on his team to win. And if you look at the report, I don't think there's any cases where they proved that he bet on his team to ever lose.
Yeah, and I was just about ready to say that. I think that every bet that he made when he knew or when he thought he had the advantage over the other team, he bet to win. Now, I don't know if they have what do you call it, by runs in baseball. If there's like, hey, you got like 3 runs, like the over. I know they have like strength of schedule shit like that. But I don't think that in baseball they had like the plus or minuses like they have in football. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't bet. But I'm sure.
I don't know how they did betting back then as compared to now, because betting has changed a lot with fantasy leagues and everything else.
Right.
So when he was betting back then, I don't think it was, like you said, by so many runs or nothing like it. I think it was more like win-loss or, like stuff like that.
Bye, Vicky. Take care, honey. And I'm just reading the comments. So, again, I'm sorry they're not.
And by the way, you had an excellent interview with Jeff Jagger. I loved it.
Oh, thank you.
And Peggy is brilliant. I loved hearing her tonight.
Peggy's awesome. I'll have her on another time, but I definitely want to have some more people that are openers that you guys don't get a chance to hear from all the time, and I'm going to reach out to them. And hopefully, I mean, trust me, I don't know anybody that's going to be as entertaining as Peggy Holmes right now, so they're going to have to top her. But we'll see what we can do.
I'd like to hear her thoughts more after the draft. I think that'd be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, I think we might be able to do that as well. Like I said, as long as Peggy's in good health and hopefully we can catch her in days of good health, we'll try to do that for you. Hey, Doc, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to let this line get open.
Okay. You have a good night there, Captain Jack.
All right. Thanks again, Doc. Good hearing from you. All right, that was Doc Burdett. Always enjoy hearing from him now that line is open. And again, I got a chance to do this now. If you're on Facebook, thank you for being on Facebook, but please go to YouTube. If you don't know already, and I said this before, as I get more subscribers on YouTube, I'm gonna do like plateaus. The next plateau is the 600 subscriber mark. And I'm going to find a nice Raider gift from all the different things that I have that I can't put up. And there'll be like something for the 600 person mark. It'll be one person that's already a subscriber. And as I do it, when I get 700, it'll be one person out of the 700 and so on and so on and so on. So again, thank you for being there on YouTube. Come on over to YouTube. Better picture and sound quality over on YouTube. If there's some issues, I gotta worry. I gotta figure out how to get Irene on here because Irene said she couldn't get on YouTube. That's a bummer because I want to hear from Martha Irene. She's a wonderful lady. Anyway, line is open. 813-699-0834. Say no to drugs. Did I say something about drugs? I don't know. Hey, Wheels, Dusty, what did I say about drugs? Maybe I just, because sometimes I just rocket fire out of my mouth. I don't remember saying anything about drugs. It sounds like everyone is on drugs. Okay. This is going to be entertaining. Ruben Fellew. I know we're going to hear some good things from you, but again, Ruben, when I tell you let's wrap it up, let's wrap it up. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. I heard a lot of what Peggy had to say and a bunch of other people. You guys brought up a thing about Pete Rose. Yeah. I heard about that too. I was going to mention them. I did mention them in the comments, but I was like, they start talking about integrity. I'm like, really? Since when? All these fucking guys in the league and all these owners in all these sports, okay, no matter if it's football or baseball, they don't give a shit about integrity. If they did, then you get caught cheating. Okay, you get the trophy taken away. Simple as that. But they don't do that, do they?
No.
So how important is the cheating is to them? No. Cheating ain't number one importance. They just pretend in front of the public view on TV that it is. Doors? Oh, how much money did we make today, Bob? That's all they give a shit about. That's the bottom line. When it comes to that, they put money before the integrity of the game.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they burned the tapes when the Patriots got caught. I said, I wish that tape, like it did, when the Ray Rice incident, that's the only reason why they weren't able to control that situation.
Because they had tape.
They were catching hell from all the women and everybody else.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Goodell went home that day. He was getting told shit by his wife. Better do something, huh? It's like the fire's under your ass now, isn't it? The fire would have been under if the tape for the Patriots would have got out. Everybody wanted to see it. The only people they want to see it were the people involved in it. That franchise and their fans. They know they fucking cheat. See, we cheated too. You mentioned something about Madden?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
He did say that. I remember seeing something a long time ago when I was a kid. He said, yeah. He goes, but the difference between us, we cheat. We own it. We never said we didn't cheat. If you said we cheated, yeah, okay. They catch us because everybody in the game cheated. Sometimes the refs saw, sometimes they didn't. And I believe this. As a coach, I don't encourage my players to cheat, but if a guy's going to cheap shot you or do something and the ref misses it either on purpose or he really didn't see it, you can't, your players come in the huddle or you pump them up or whatever, or when it's halftime in the locker room, remember what he did to you? Get his ass back every chance you get. Do it back to them, because that's the only way then the playing, it makes it that much harder to win when the other team's cheating and you're not. You think you're going to have the upper hand? You think you're going to have the edge on them because you want to play by the rules, but they're not? Nah, you're not going to win. You're going to fall victim to them because they're doing something you're not doing.
Yeah, if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough to win. But there's degrees. There's degrees of cheating. There's right. There's trying to get an advantage. Trying to gain an advantage. There you go.
Yeah, because you learn that at a young age. At least I did. When you're playing or basketball, whatever, playing 21, whatever, you're close to it. He knows that you can do a layup real good, but you can't really hit the jump shot until you work on your jump shot. So every time you go to the basket, what he's going to do, he's going to foul you. He's going to keep fouling you until he gets the ball from you. Or when you're playing cards, he's going to try to cheat. So you learn, okay, this is how I have to play this guy. Because he cheats, to try to beat me because he knows he can't beat me, fair and square, like straight up. He won't be able to do that. What I was going to mention, so I kind of looked it up because I didn't want to misquote something. I wrote it in the quotes about, for the people to understand what Al did, this is how deep the NFL hates him. It goes so deep, and this is how deep it goes, because this is what happened. In the second trial of what also had become a personal confrontation between the NFL Football League, Commissioner Pete Rozelle, and Oakland owner Al Davis, the jury deliberated for 5.5 hours, okay, after 21 days of testimony, before returning its verdict favoring the Raiders and the Los Angeles Coliseum Board, which originated the suit in 1978. You want to know how bad they hate the franchise and him, even though since 1978. That's how deep their hatred is for them.
Actually, Ruben, it goes beyond that. But I'm gonna have to let you go, brother, because
they weren't.
We're we're up on.
He didn't like Al Davis.
Right, we're up on time, and you got a good point. Thanks again, Ruben. 757. Who am I talking to?
Raider Billy.
Hey, Raider Billy, how you doing? I saw that you wanted the number, so I made sure I put it on there. And you at least, one of the reasons why I tell people they need to go to YouTube is because I flash the number on YouTube, and then when the person is up to on their time limit, it goes right on the screen. Make sure that
I know. Yeah, I have not got myself computer straight on that, Captain Jack, and I will tip my hat. First off, I enjoy listening to you.
Thank
I
you.
enjoy listening to all the callers.
Thank you.
I do. All right. Well, first thing we need to clear up here.
Okay.
All right, is Derek Carr. Let's clear this up real quick.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna clear it up real quick. I will. The thing is about Derek Carr is that he is not Aaron Rodgers.
No.
And the thing about him is that he listens to coaching. John Gruden has told him to throw the ball into the ground, to check down, to do what he is supposed to do for the offense he's running. The offense he's running, I mean, come on. We all know this. That offense right now was made to tear clock up to keep that defense off the field.
Okay,
Plus,
I'll give it that, but throw it in the ground on 4th down? I can't see that.
Well, the thing about this is once you are taught to do it over and over and over, and once you are in that offense and have no wide receivers, once Williams got that foot injury, there were no wide receivers out there. There were none.
No.
I mean,
See, I disagree.
See Derek Carr played better when Hunter Renfrow came back.
Right, but I tell you what, there were receivers available. They had names like Marcel Aitman, who was the only receiver that Derek Carr. No, wait
garbage.
a second. No. See, I disagree wholeheartedly with Marcel Aitman. I think that Marcel Aitman is a receiver which showed a lot of promise. And the last game he fumbled the ball. I get it. It was a bad fumble, and it like, oh my God, get rid of this guy. He sucks. He doesn't suck. He's not quite a rookie, but he's a decent receiver.
When you back up in a pocket and you're looking for Marcel Aitman, things are a problem. And as far as getting rid of Derek Carr, look, there's 2 more years left on $25 million on salary cap. It's always easy to fire somebody, Captain. I mean, you can fire anybody.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can just go out here and fire anybody. But how about the replacement?
Well, that's what I said. I said, for all you people that are calling for Derek Carr, give me an option. Because right now, your only options are Nate Peterman, who I wouldn't mind at least throw in the mix, right? Deshaun Kaiser, who sucks. Glennon, who sucks. A free agent quarterback, a straight free agent quarterback once they're available. And I'm going to throw up, as I say this name, Tom Brady, who is technically a free agent quarterback. A free agent like Teddy Bridgewater, a free agent like Drew Brees. These guys are free agents. You gotta give me an option, and there is no other option right now.
I don't really think we need another option. I think Derek can play good football.
No, I'm not. No. You misinterpret what I'm saying, Billy. Is that again? If we got Derek Carr, I want Derek Carr with receivers. I want him with positivity. I want to see the Derek Carr that was shown to me in 2016. No, it wasn't Gruden's offense. I get it. It was a different offense. But I want to see that Derek Carr. I want to see him do a little bit more on his own other than what Gruden says.
Obviously, when he hurt his leg, it changed him.
Yes.
But he had Crabtree and Amari Cooper out there catching balls.
Well,
and there's there's no one there now.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I mean, you really think about it. When he backs up in the pocket, I mean, T.J. Williams, what is that? That's a 3. Basically, on the Chargers, he was a 3. He came out there, he played some decent ball, he hurt his foot, he dropped. How about the ball he dropped in the Texan game?
Oh, yeah. And what?
Derek Carr dropped that right in the breadbasket.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And like I said,
that would have changed our season right there.
Right. Bad feet doesn't mean that you have bad hands. I get it. And maybe it's, and what we're probably going to say is maybe there's a little bit of a connection between, oh my God, my foot hurts, and the ball is right here and I'm going to drop it. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of it, that the very time that he was supposed to be catching the ball, there was such excruciating pain in one of the feet at the exact moment that it dropped.
That's because we got some free agent trash, and then that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you really look at our wide receiving core, because I play fantasy football, and we all do.
Well,
and you look at our wide receiving core.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the Redskins, it's the most horrid thing, period. The only reason that I'm mad at Derek Carr is because you are right. I will tip my hat to that. Because sometimes, man, you just got to play some backyard football. And he gets bad at that. I mean, because we watched Ben Roethlisberger do it. We watched Rodgers do it. And he's got to start doing that. He's also the one thing that makes me the most mad about Derek Carr. Just let me get this out.
Okay.
When things are going good, when we're rolling, like when we beat the Chargers and we beat Denver on that Monday night, good things. He's so happy. And it's just when things are going bad, doesn't he look like somebody just took his lollipop from him in a ball yard?
Yeah.
And he starts pouting.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like about him. Because you're the leader of the team. The team rolls in your emotions.
I agree.
And he needs to be cooler about that.
Yeah, he does. And that's another thing. If you're going to be excited when you win, okay, don't be a spoiled brat when you lose. And I agree. I agree with you on that.
And another thing I wanted to say is, don't the Steelers pick a linebacker every year? Don't they win all the time?
Well, Jared would probably know. I mean, I know that they take a very good either a safety. The Steelers always take a dynamic defensive player every year because they're built off that. Yeah, they're built off that. That's true.
especially in the division we're playing in.
Right.
I mean, did you see what the Chiefs did? You see what the Chargers do? Everybody with Ezekiel, whatever his name is over there in charge of playing. What I'm trying to say is that we don't have any linebackers go sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
Our linebackers right now are Canadian linebackers.
Right.
They play in the CFL, basically. I mean,
wait a second. Actually, you're bringing up a good point. The linebacker that the Raiders picked up from the CFL can actually go sideline to sideline. That's one of the reasons why they signed him, because he can show that ability, Billy.
Yeah, I know, but the last one we picked was Ronald McClain. And before that, I think it was, I mean, look through Raider history right now.
Oh, the Raiders have needed a linebacker for 25, 30 years. And that's with good linebackers like, and I'm not, Slow Row Mo ain't in that list. But, Napoleon Harris from Northwestern, they need Greg Beekert was a decent linebacker, and even Kirk Morrison, but I think Kirk Morrison was like a 4th-round pick. So they haven't really...
all of them slow of foot.
Right. Well, they need a dynamic linebacker, but like I said, they've needed a dynamic linebacker for at least 25 years.
Well, before you eject me here, I want to ask you this.
Okay.
Should we? I think that the draft right now has enough wide receiver help for us because it's thick in wide receiver help. But should we just go defense off get-go? I mean, that's what I think we need to do. Because, man, Captain, we went 3 weeks without letting somebody punt. I'm tired of that. we can blame Derek Carr all we want, but man, it was a few times I was like, man, we can't even make anything but a punt.
Yeah, that you're right. Hey, Billy.
I mean,
I agree with you, and I appreciate the call, man. You got to come in more often. Like I said, get on over to YouTube and come in more often, brother.
Absolutely, I will. And don't get me wrong, I still like CeeDee Lamb. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Raiders.
There you go.
Later.
All right. Hey, Billy, make sure you text me your number so I will have you in my phone. So when you call, hopefully next time, when I do have my phone charged, which I'm actually charging right now. Oh, yeah, no shit. I have it off. That's the reason why I don't know who's calling. So if you call and I don't know what your number is, it's because my phone was off and still charging. Line is open. I've really enjoyed the show tonight. I really have. Line is open, 813-699-0834. Louisa, I'd love to hear from you. You said that your Wi-Fi is not letting you. I'd love to hear from Louisa. And by the way, to Miss Louisa, blessings to you, and I think it's Violet is the name of your daughter. Blessings to you and her every day that good things happen. I send my love, and we all send our love to you as well for being that dynamic, okay? And so blessings to you. If you're on Facebook, thank you for being there, but please get over to YouTube. Like I said, when we get people up over to YouTube, we're gonna give away some nice Raider prizes. Trust me, I got like a trunk full of stuff, and it's neat. I mean, even if it's just a Raider knick-knack, but it will probably be more than that. Like I said, I'm hoping that I have something that is Hall of Fame worthy for the 1,000th giveaway. Line is open, 813-699-0834. Let's get some more calls in here. No, Carlson hasn't been cut yet, but if y'all haven't seen the show from last night with Jeff Jagger, we all want Jeff Jagger to come back and kick. And you know what? I think he still could. I really do. I think he's still good. And Jeff's my age. Actually, he's like about 6 months older than me. So he's 55. I'm going to be 55 in, well, knock wood. I want to make sure. 55 the end of March. So I got about, a month and a half to hopefully hit 55. Line is open, 813-699-0834. Lots to talk about. We haven't even touched upon the hate game. The hate game. And I mean this. We talked about baseball. I'm watching hockey, by the way. Right now, the Lightning are surprisingly losing to the Wild 3-2. I was listening to my Flyers who were getting their butts kicked by the damn Canadiens. I got to watch something on sports. I can't wait to show you guys the room. Unfortunately, my interior designer didn't make it over here today because, like I said, her kids had temperatures of, March Madness, double nickel. You got it, Don. Her kids had temperatures of 102, so she wasn't able. So she's coming over on MLK Day. So I work tomorrow. Effing fire Daniel Carlson. I agree. And thanks again for the call. Like I said, if you haven't called yet, let's do that. The hate game, which is the championship games this weekend. You got the people or the teams that we hate. And I always go through, and I even said this on a Facebook post, I always go through when the playoffs begin and the Raiders aren't in it. I got to find the least objectionable teams to win the Super Bowl because you know somebody's going to win. We're joined by Jerry White. Jerry, how you doing, brother? Jerry, turn your phone down or whatever, your interview thing. Jerry.
Yes.
Yeah, we got you, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. What's going on over there?
Oh, boy. I am really, really tired of everyone disrespecting Derek Carr. I really am. The only problem I have with him is the check down.
Yeah.
He will throw a check down on 2 out of 3 plays every single time. I don't know if he trusts the O-line, but he'll throw it down. Other than that, if the guy, I don't know where he lost his confidence. Was it the broken ankle?
It was exactly that there, Jerry. And I'm actually, I don't mind that you talking about Derek Carr, but I'm trying to get past that because that's why I had a whole show on it. But because you opened it up, I will give that. He lost confidence in 2016 when he got his ankle broken, and then the next year he had the broken back, he had the broken finger, and he doesn't. If he doesn't have rapport with his receivers, okay, he doesn't trust them. He doesn't trust them. I mean, that's why last year his favorite receiver was Jared Cook. Why? Because Crabtree wasn't there anymore. And Amari Cooper wasn't there after a while. So he has to have good rapport with people, and if he doesn't, he don't trust them. Now, the only people that Derek Carr trusts on this team right now, the only person that he trusts on this team is Hunter Renfrow. I mean, other than Darren Waller, okay? But if you're talking about non-tight end, it's Hunter Renfrow. So basically, we got a receiver, a large receiver in Waller he has good rapport with, but he doesn't trust anybody else.
Well, okay, he's always got Waller going down to the right. Who's going down to the left? So he's going to go to a tight end, period.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's going to the left? So if he's going through his reads, if he goes to the right and Waller's covered, or double covered, whatever the case may be, he's going to go to a tight end.
That's if we're running. If we're running 2 tight ends, then he's looking for Carrier, or before he was injured, Moreau.
Can you answer a question for me?
I'll try.
Why in the hell would they let Jared Cook go?
I'm glad you said that, and I talked about this, in a big way, at the end of last season. There were reports from a source that I had that Jared Cook was not a good locker room guy, and that he did not have the leadership qualities that John Gruden was looking for in a veteran, because remember, John Gruden loves veterans, but he did not have the leadership qualities that John Gruden was looking for. And we didn't trade Cook. He was at the end. He was a free agent there, Ed.
Yeah,
so
let's make sure. Him go.
They let him go. So because that Gruden did not like him as a leadership person, that he was a quote unquote locker room cancer. Remember when they had that report about a receiver saying, "Get me the F out of here"? Well, it was either Cook or Jordy Nelson that said that, because that's the way it was.
I do remember that.
Okay, so that's why they let Jared Cook go. He was not what he was supposed to be as a leader, as a positive force in the locker room. And oh, by the way, he probably wanted too much money, which made it real easy.
And look, he went to the Saints.
Yeah,
and
he got paid.
They've been in the playoffs ever since he went there, and he is Drew Brees' probably number 1 receiver.
Well, he went there this year, and they made it this year. So yeah, he's 1 for 1.
Okay, well, I mean, when you have trust with a quarterback, I mean, how hard is it to build it, even for the next season?
Well, like I said, and Peggy made the point there, Jerry, and I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna ask if you have one more, because we're up on time right now. The only receiver that Derek Carr had coming into this year that he had last year was Marcel Aitman, the only one he had any sort of rapport with. So, And again, for those that said that Aitman sucks, I don't think so. He's not an all-pro. He's not an all-star. He's a better than average, in my mind. He's a better than average receiver if he gets the opportunities. So
neither's Waller.
Well, Waller is probably one of the top tight ends in the conference. I mean, yeah, I know you got Kelsey.
I'm sorry. No, let me take that back. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I'm talking about the wide receiver we got from the Chargers. I can't think of
Williams. Williams is a good receiver to stretch the field, but he's not a number one.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
Last statement. It's not a question, it's a statement.
Okay.
Head coach.
Yeah.
Not getting in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that sucks.
Wide receiver. And I actually had the honor of meeting Mr. Branch. Not in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Head coach. He was the first Latino head coach and quarterback in the NFL, won a Super Bowl as being
a player, an assistant head coach,
twice.
and twice as a head coach. Yeah.
And then they turn around and put in
the Chin.
God, I can't think of his name.
Bill Cowher, the Chin, and that's not
Bill
deserved.
Cowher.
Yeah.
Okay, I have nothing against Bill Cowher. I don't. But the Hall of Fame, what they are, they're biased.
Yeah, they are.
And they're biased against Al Davis.
And the organization, because Al, it's kind of like if you hate somebody and you know that person did X, you're going to be biased against X because you know that was their baby. The Raiders are Al Davis's baby, and that's why they continue to this day to be biased against his team. Hey, Jerry, thanks for calling in again, man. Always good hearing from you.
We're always going to lose with that happening.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but until things change, they're just going to remain the same.
I hope so. I hope so soon. Thanks for hearing my call.
You got it, Jerry. You take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. That's Jerry White. Good to hear from him. Line is open. It's 10:43 Eastern Time. So if you're on Facebook, by the way, thank you for being there, but please go over to YouTube. Remember, if you're a YouTube member, you're eligible, providing I know that you are a subscriber, and that's where you have to check out in your settings that I know that you are a subscriber to me. I'll probably have to put a list out. But again, once we hit those plateaus, we're going to give away some nice Raider prizes. One other thing, and like I said, if you are a musician and you got your band together or thing like that, if you have a Captain Jack, I'm putting together some really cool things in music that is, I don't have to pay royalties for, because again they knock you for it on YouTube. I want to see if they do it today by getting it, but we'll do that. Mike Sarah, good to hear from you, brother. How you doing?
Good, Captain. How are you?
Not bad, brother. Not bad. In fact, let me make sure people don't knock you out inadvertently, so we'll do that. What's up?
No, not much. Just thinking about these games this weekend, probably one of the worst nightmares I think I'm ever going to have in my entire life is the Chiefs make the Super Bowl. I mean, that's going to be a god-awful,
Thank you for somebody calling in about the championship games. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Yeah, if the Chiefs make it, I don't even think I'll watch the Super Bowl. I won't. That team, I just absolutely freaking hate.
No, I disagree. I know you will watch the Super Bowl because depending upon who goes there, especially if it's the Packers, because I don't know if you're a Niner hater. I mean, I never lived in the Bay, so I acknowledge that the Niners don't need to go there either, because it's one of the pissiest Super Bowl that you could have is a Niners Chiefs Super Bowl, because no matter what happens, they're going to be Raider Nation is going to be livid. I get it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, but if you have a Packers Chiefs Super Bowl, which what my boy Wayne Sargent, who is the what is it? Not the incredible. I can't remember the Invincible, the Ultimate. There you go, the Ultimate Packer fan. He's calling for a replay of Super Bowl I. So we'll see if that happens. I don't want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I don't want them anywhere near a Lombardi Trophy. So hopefully it'll be a Packers-Titans Super Bowl where I'll be able to get a chance to. Mike, we got you back on. I didn't even realize I lost you.
I don't know what happened. That buzzing noise came in again on my phone. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, you got to get that checked out because that happens every time you call.
I think CIA, FBI, somebody's kidding me, man. I don't know what I did wrong.
Well, like I said, worst Super Bowl would be, Niners, Chiefs Super Bowl. I'm going to shut up. Go ahead and talk, brother.
Well, I absolutely despise the Chiefs. I live in Missouri.
Right, you live in
Missouri. We got
Missouri.
Chiefs fans all over the freaking place. All the people, since the Rams left, everybody's jumping on the damn Chiefs bandwagon. It's horrible. So I won't even get into it. I don't even want to see that team even close. But, unfortunately it might happen. So we'll just have to deal with it. But I was going to talk to you about this Princeton Buckner firing and Rod Marinelli hiring.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't even delve into that. And I am all mad about that, but people are saying that it's a racial thing. I don't think it is.
No,
I think that it's a matter of fact that Buckner, who became a star in his own right on Hard Knocks, was getting a lot of the buzz of with the Raiders. And maybe it pissed John off. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe it's one of those things where John didn't want to have a rising star amongst them. And again, I really liked what Buckner did. Marinelli allegedly is going to be an upgrade. I don't think so. I mean, if you look at what he's done, Marinelli was Gruden's defensive coordinator under Kiffin. Because Kiffin was the defensive coordinator and he was the assistant coordinator under Kiffin, and he took a lot of that with him. He's a decent coach. He's old. He's
70 years old.
Exactly. But I don't think he's an upgrade. No. I don't think that he's an upgrade.
Here's the thing. I think that he got him because he didn't want to fire Gunther, so he's getting basically another defensive coordinator in there to kind of help Gunther out. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, well, if you're going to do that, then why do you have to fire Buckner? Why can't you just make him assistant head coach defense? Yeah, right. Assistant
or something like that.
Yeah, give him a title. All it is a title. Say, hey, your job is to help out Paul Gunther and whoever else. You're going to be. Remember when we used to have? I can't remember his name. The guy that was with the Chargers for the longest time, Al Saunders. There you go. Al Saunders was a senior offensive assistant. What the hell title? It doesn't matter. His job was to help on offense. And he had a title, and that's all. He was somebody who was supposed to help out. Why don't you say...
That's what Olsen's basically like that, too. He's just got a title. He
exactly. Olsen's not the offensive coordinator. So, I mean, at this point, I'm actually surprised that if they've done it this far... For getting rid of Buckner with Marinelli, I'm quite surprised already that Jay Gruden hasn't been named offensive coordinator yet.
Yeah, I think I heard that Jay said he's holding out. I think he wants to get another head coaching job possibly. I don't know, kind of what I read, but I'm not sure if that's
he ain't going to become a head coach. He sucks.
No, he did.
He sucks. He's like Norvell Turner. I don't even call him a great. He's a very good offensive coordinator. Very good offensive coordinator, but he's not a head coach. So,
and Buckner, basically they went 13 sacks, they went 32 sacks. I also read 30th against the run last year to 9th against the run this year or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, what an amazing turnaround. I know you have better personnel, but still. He did something for that team. He did something for that defensive line to make them better.
Yeah,
and the players liked him.
Exactly,
he was a great coach.
The players liked him, and that says a lot too. If you
think these guys are happy that he's gone? I'm sure they're not happy.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm sure they're all pissed, and
I'm sure they are.
I would be too.
But that's Gruden's way of doing stuff. He doesn't give a shit. does what he wants to do, and he's making $100 million, and he's going to do his way. And I'm not a Gruden hater. I like Gruden. I'm all for him, but he's stuck in his ways, man. He really is.
Yeah, but he's $100 million stuck in his ways, and he's got he's got all the time in the world, man. I mean, like I said, I'll work for John doing something. I mean, whatever. Just pay me. And let me live in my house, and then I'll live out there during the season or whatever, and go into Vegas now that he's not at the Raiders. Actually, technically they're not the Las Vegas Raiders yet, not until March. And if you guys were watching, I'm going to throw in a plug to Raider Bear. If you guys were watching Raider Bear last night, he actually put out the word, not that he's a conspiracy theorist. It's not that he's a conspiracy theorist. Love Raider Bear, and hopefully I'm going to have him as an opener pretty soon as well. By the way, if you're on Facebook, thanks for being there, but please head on over to YouTube. But there was reports that if there's issues with the weather, and if it socks the stadium, if it rains in Vegas and they're not ready for it, it's going to put the stadium behind because it's going to screw things up inside. And that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So we'll see. We'll see if there's another year in Oakland, and God, I hope not.
I doubt it. I think, and he was talking about a lot of rain, and then some other people chimed in and said it's probably not going to happen. The rain is probably not. They said it rains a few times in Vegas during the year, so they don't really think it's going to be a rain situation. But who knows with the way the weather's been lately? It's crazy, so who knows?
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd chime in a little bit on the coaching situation because I thought that was big news. That's real big news.
It was.
I don't know. I don't think it's a good situation, but we'll see. I got to trust Gruden. Got to trust his method of what he's doing, and just go with it. So we just keep our fingers crossed.
All right. Well, we'll muddle through, man. Kind of like God. Why do I have the tune "One Day at a Time" in my mind?
Great song, right? Yeah.
Right. We'll muddle through one day at a time. So whop on your feet. Whop on your feet. Yeah, we're going back to the 70s there, Mike. If you guys don't know the song, yeah, well, man, was she hot or what? Oh my God.
She was.
Yeah. And even though she's a little bit older than me, she's a little chunky, but then again I am. She's still hot.
Oh, she's still hot.
She's still hot. Yeah.
We couldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers. No way.
There you go.
Well, good deal. I'll let you go. I just, one parting word here. Go Titans, please. Go Packers. And hopefully we can have a Super Bowl we can actually watch and enjoy.
There you go. We don't have to throw up at all in our mouths, even just a little bit.
No shit.
All right,
Cap. Take care, bud.
All right. Thanks again, Mike. And get your phone fixed.
I will. I don't know what's going on with it.
All right. Take care, brother.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. That's Mike Sarah from the great state of Missouri. And yes, I said that correctly. It's 10:53. If you want to come on, great. If you want, I'll take one more call. Hopefully, Dave Lippin. Oh my God. And Adrian, the reason why Lippincott didn't get fired, you know where he came from, right? Adrian? He was on the Bengals. He's Gunther's piss boy. He's his right-hand man. He's his yin and yang. He's a Bengal. He came right over from Paulie Gunther's D and just sucked up into the position. So he ain't going to go. But good call, good thought. But that's the reason why he's still there. You think that Paulie Gunther is going to fire Dave Lippincott when Lippincott came from the Bengals and that's his boy. That's my boy right there. No way, man. No way. So if you want to be the last caller, love to hear from you. Line is open, 813-699-0834, 813-699-0834. People saying the Raiders are going after Burrow and number. Man, there's some people smoking dope. There is no way in hell And I'm not going to say something stupid like, well, if that happens, I'll eat my hat. Well, I mean, there is a realm of possibility. But likelihood of Joe Burrow, you'd have to give up, you'd have to have like a Ricky Williams draft. If you guys don't remember, the Saints gave up their entire draft, and I can't even remember what team it was. The Saints gave up their entire draft under Mike Ditka as their head coach to trade up to number 1 for Ricky Williams. They gave up their entire draft. You would have to do that in order to get up to number 1 and get Joe Burrow. Just the way it is. You'd have to say, hey, Cincinnati, not only will you have all your picks, you'll have all of ours, which, by the way, you'll still have 2 1s. You'll have 2 1s, 3 3s, a 5 and a 6 and a 7. And, oh, by the way, we'll probably have to throw in picks from next year, too. Just for 1 pick. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. Line is open, 813-699-0834, 813-699-0834. If you're on Facebook, thank you for being there. But, no, it says I'm trying to reconnect, so hopefully I'm still on. I don't know. Hopefully I'll get some more. If Gruden doesn't get the Raiders to the playoffs in 2020, has the game passed them by? Not necessarily, Ruben. Not necessarily, but he needs help. That's why I think we really do need to have Jay Gruden help him out. And it's one of those things where if you have the mix of old school, it can be done. I mean, I was it the Vikings are a run heavy team? They are, and it works. They were in the playoffs, and they rely on the run quite a lot to set up the pass. Then again, you got Kirk Cousins and Diggs and who else? Not too much else. So it can. I mean, ground. It used to be the old Chuck Fairbanks ground chuck. Run, run, run. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Although that wasn't Chuck Fairbanks with 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That was like the Lombardi Packers or the Hallis Bears or the Curly Lambeau Packers. Got that. But it can work, and that's why, you know, we did so well with Josh Jacobs, because, you know, it can work. Keep the ball, score the points, keep the other people from having the ball. Yeah, the 49ers did turn it around quite a bit, but then again, how many high first-round picks do they have on that defense? Woody Hayes, Don Webb, got to, and yeah, I think, and Don knows I don't like Ohio State, so let's say that. You know I don't like Ohio State, but I loved Woody Hayes. I know that's a dichotomy there, but I loved Woody Hayes. Woody Hayes. And I like Bo Schembechler too, which was cool because Bo was actually from Ohio, or was Woody Hayes from Michigan? The one coach was from the other state, and it was unique. Yeah, I love Vince. Vince Lombardi kind of reminds me of my grandfather. The refs gave the Raiders the average penalties to give every other team, and maybe we can have a double-digit wins. Bo is from Ohio. Okay, that's what it was. I knew that the one coach was from the opposite state, and I thought it was Schembechler was from Ohio. So I said it. I think I said that first. And Ed's with me on Ohio State. Well, shucks. It's 11 o'clock. So, having said that, no, I'm not going to put. Okay, good. I'm not going to put the outro music on because I get in trouble for the outro music because it has It has some, and it's unfortunate because it's got Captain Jack from Billy Joel, you know, Captain Jack, and then there's, you know, then there's I'm Your Captain. So it's like all of those copyright stuff. So not going to do it. I want to thank everybody for being here. It's 11 o'clock p.m., which it means it's 8 o'clock on the Pacific time. Get on over and see Raider Bear. Good night to everybody as well. Good night to you, Mike, Sarah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, hopefully I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, and I know pretty much everybody that's over on YouTube already has subscribed. I'd be amazed if you're over here and haven't subscribed yet. If you haven't, please do. If you're on Facebook, please go over and subscribe to YouTube. Adrian, you have a good night as well. It's been fun. I'm going to try to get some new music for the outro as well, so I don't have to worry about copyright fees because they dinked me on that. And so we'll do that. So again, have a great night, everybody. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I had Pirates of the Caribbean as well, Ed, but they had a copyright dink on it. Wow, there's only 2 people like the show? Oh no, okay, there's 9. There's 9. Thank you. Wow, I would have been pissed. 9. I appreciate the 9 likes. So again, if you like the show, please give me a like, thumbs up, all that, and I appreciate that. I'm gonna head up. I'm gonna head on over to watch Raider Bear. So we'll see you over there. Take care, everybody. Thanks a lot. Where do you like Dow? Dow? That's an Iranian boat. A Dow. You're gonna have to spell that again. We'll figure it out. Anyway, y'all take care. Thanks again for watching. Oh, where do you like the show? It's with the thumbs up. If you go down to the bottom of the screen, you have a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a share, a save, and all of that. So please give me a thumbs up. Definitely enjoyed that. Y'all take care. We'll see you on the next show. I'm signing off on YouTube. Thanks again. And what we'll talk some more.